I always felt like I had a chance. I felt like, to me, if you like running, then weight is the issue. And so you got to be committed to a whole lifestyle. This is the thing I realize, of course, now is like that fitness is a lifestyle.
Right.
And so it's not, oh, I'm going to put my shoes on, run out, get my dopamine fix, and tell everybody, yeah, I'm working out. I run 4.2 miles a day. I
Yeah.
mean, uh, 4 times a week. You know what I mean? You just sort of get into that thing and you feel good about yourself because you're running. But in the meantime, everything else is falling apart because, that's just the way it is as you get older. So I never felt it until it was over. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think that's a common trend too, is a lot of people, especially people who've worked out or were athletes their entire lives, essentially, they may be, 40, 50, 60, but they feel the same as they did when they were 20, 25. Maybe there were some things that aren't working the same way, but that spirit is still there. So that's certainly
Yeah.
important to keep, maintaining that and keep that alive. Because I think that that almost that burning, that inside, that burning desire to continue being better, I feel like is hard to lose. And once you lose it, it makes it a little bit more difficult to come back. So I think as trainers and as therapists, or even as physicians, you got to keep that light alive inside. And then for people who still have that light, they need to keep fighting for that light, because it's worth it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And maybe your follow up might be, so what was it about me as a trainer that gave you hope?
Well, I
You
think
can
that's
you can throw that in later, okay? Because it's important when you reach a point when you can't run and you have other issues that that because this functional stuff doesn't just I look at these commercials now where they show the machines
mhm.
that you can buy that you install on the wall, and the folks are doing like a variety of different cable based exercises, and that commercial says that dumbbells are not the way things are done anymore. It's the end of dumbbells, and it's now the beginning of these modern machines. That I realized that everything I learned from you was such a focus on technique, and body position and breathing, and it makes me wonder. I I don't know how you get somebody to. I guess you could. It's just all a teaching thing. You taught me about that every exercise, the squat, as an example, can be a kind of PhD in squat. I think you
Go
have
to
a
school for
P.
that. That's it.
So yeah, do you have a degree in squat? I would like to see your.
Yeah, I'd like to see your credentials on deadlifts, squats,
Oh,
and
oh, you're Bulgarian.
uh,
That's good.
nice.
Nice.
You studied abroad. That's great.
Are you Romanian or Bulgarian? So the each one of these exercises has a kind of mental commitment to it, and I now realize that the Icelandic guys that are like deadlifting 1,000 pounds, are probably like ballerinas in their head, so that they do the whole thing right,
Yeah,
So
I think the simple things of just picking up heavy stuff, I think is just overlooked so much. I think we really need to keep it simple, and I think that's what we've done with the exercise program that we've developed. Is just get used to picking up heavy object, because if your body gets used to picking up things, and you're almost like forcing it to adapt. You have to force it to take on whatever you're giving it, and if your daily stuff is taking out the garbage and hanging out in front of your computer all day, that's what your body's going to adapt to. So you definitely got to
yeah,
maintain all
yeah.
the other functional stuff.
No, I love what you've been doing about, just this whole motion, um, art, like archer rows and stuff like that try to replicate motions that you may have that you may not prepare for, that are the ones that cause you to have the injury, because it's always like a set of dominoes, it's like the medial lateral brace was a byproduct of the foot problem.
Hmm.
The I have sciatica, which is I didn't bring up, but it's a I don't really know if that how that one fits in, as far as the
What's a part of your
that's
story?
yeah, and from that there's stretching, and there's this obsession over stretching, and then
Yeah.
there's the injuries that's caused by stretching. So I've made I'm not so smart when it comes to this stuff. It's sort of your will. I told you I'm my own worst enemy, and I've always said that. That I'm like the guy that wants to go to failure, and that there's no idea of backing off. Only now am I realizing that, you're not always training for peak. And I also know that anybody who's going to listen to this, there's thousands of people now. This is no longer, you find the whoop community, 5,000, 5,500 in California, you can see where you stand as far as the daily strain. So it's changed, it's no longer like what it used to be.